What is up, friends? Welcome back. I hope you guys are having an absolutely phenomenal week. No, you are not crazy. Yes, things are getting wild out there, but take heart, dear friend, for you have found a place where you can come on in, take a load off, and be refreshed with just a little bit of common freaking sense. I am Chris, Green Beret, medic, father, husband.
And I am Pastor Eric, which means that I am pastor. I'm also a biblical student as we keep studying God's word and known as the general all guru. So if you've got a question, I've got an answer. I'm not claiming that it's right. Chris, tell us what's on today's show.
All right, coming up this week, we're going to be covering the big idea, which is going to be, should we bring back shaming? We're going to be covering the latest headlines in who's who and what's new. And then we're going to wind up at the end, keeping the main thing, by discovering that we aren't actually good enough all on our own. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right, as we do each week, we are going to start off with the big idea.
Oh.
All right, and this week, the big idea, should we bring back shaming? Now, I'm so excited because I know that this is going to piss a lot of people off, and I am so ready to dive into these shallow waters head first. But I gotta say, like, things were so much better before when you could just make fun of people for being insert, bad trait in their life. Like, hey, man, you're fat. You should stop doing that. Like, listen.
Okay, stop right there. Is that really shaming, or were you just speaking truth to power?
Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to know one of the biggest things that finally helped me with my weight loss? Here it is. Ready? Here's the big secret, everybody. Yes, I was fat. It's true.
Well, you have to internalize it, just like you did with everything else that got too close to your mouth.
I like it.
Yeah, see,
I like
that's
it
what
a
I'm
lot.
saying.
Which was part of the problem.
Like, listen, man, when you step on the scale, it just says error. You need to do something about this. I refuse to bring you around my children anymore because I'm afraid that you're going to eat them.
Actually, I had a setting on my scale that said, get off.
Yeah. You do realize you have your own gravitational pull, right?
Yeah, you mean my own orbit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you jump in the pool jumps out and says, that's okay, I'll wait.
But you want to know, it did something for me. So you married a gal who actually had a dress size of 0 when you got married. Do you recall this?
I do.
Okay.
You're going to get me in so much trouble.
And I want to tell you this, that because of my condition, it helped me to be able to come up with some of the best skinny jokes because of your wife.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
no, there's
there's
another side of that scale, 100%.
It's another side of the scale.
Like, hey,
it's like,
where's your wife? Oh, she was just turned sideways over there. I didn't see you for a second.
I know. I asked her, I'm like, Hannah, can you take a shower without the drain plug in? Because you'll go down.
Oh, no.
I did actually have her do this one time. I said, turn sideways and stick out your tongue. And she really didn't want to do it. And I'm like, go ahead, just do it for me. Turn sideways and stick out your tongue. She did. I said, look, a zipper.
Oh, man. Yeah, in our community, we say you got to be too something to do something. So there is definitely there's a side. There's too small on one side, and then there's too big on the other. Okay, Bubba. Like you got to be able to get in and out of bed without being out of breath. All right, that's a start. But it's not just the. I'm not just coming at the body positivity movement, right? That's not the only people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about like bringing back shaming for any type of bad trait that you shouldn't have in your life.
Yeah.
Shaming is an important tool that we used to use in polite society to keep people from doing bad things, because the whole idea was like you would be embarrassed to do said thing in public or for people to know a thing about you because it was not acceptable in polite society.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was called guilt.
Right, And so it's
Yeah.
like I'm going to make the argument that we should bring that back. Not everything that you do behind closed doors or everything that you're into should be known, should be celebrated, should be brought out and paraded around in front of people. Like it just shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
there's absolutely something to be said about, listen, man, I don't care to know what you do in the privacy of your own home. Just keep it there.
Right. You do realize, though, that they manufacture pills so people can't feel that anymore.
What, the shame?
Shame and guilt. That's
Oh.
right. I mean, here, oh, you having a problem with guilt? Here, take this pill.
Yeah, you can buy those at the gas station, right?
Some of them you can actually. I don't know. But it's a real thing. They manufacture pills so you won't feel the guilt.
That's
So let me just ask this really stupid question. I mean, America is so heavily into psychology. Let's see how many people can get this right. And so when I ask the question, I will pause for just a moment, and those out for you out there in internet land can land on our page when you see this and type in a really quick question. But what is the greatest manipulator or shaper in the human experience? Is it positive or negative reinforcement?
new. That's all the time that you get. But I'm
that's it.
absolutely right. I'm gonna jump in on that with 2 feet, and I'm gonna say it's negative reinforcement, like 100%, right? Because it's
The
like
angels are singing.
the little the little kid goes up to the stove. You say, "Don't touch that. It's hot." Right? At some point, the child must experience what the hot means in order for the warning to even mean anything to them. But otherwise, you don't connect the idea of a negative experience with the reason that it's a negative experience. Right.
Right. So let's take this to junior high. So Guilford, the nerd, comes in and hasn't showered in 3 days.
Are you making this person up?
I am.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was supposed to know who you were talking about.
No. Guilford, the nerd, he comes in and he doesn't smell real good. And, he clears out the 3 desks around him. Now, in modern day, we would say, oh, kids, we have to be Guilford's friend, and you can't just leave him sit there. You will sit in that seat, and you will be his friend. Back when I went to school, that negative reinforcement helped Guilford to learn to take a shower if he wanted friends.
Yeah, we actually had a kid like that when on the middle school basketball team. We all called him the Grizzly Bear. Because he stunk so bad.
And
if you're out there and you ever hear this,
you're terrible for laughing. No, I'm not terrible for laughing. If that negative shaming wasn't there, he would never step up to the plate. Am I right?
No, I agree with you 100%.
For some of them, it takes them a while to do it. But I have seen going through school and also being a teacher, I have watched those go through a couple of years, and it's like, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I might as well eat some worms. Okay. And not realize that if you would just take a shower, people would like you a lot better. And all of a sudden they hit their sophomore, junior year, boom, kicks in. And the next thing you know, they're kind of liked around the school. What happened all those years?
They took a shower and lost some weight.
Right.
Combed their
exactly.
hair. Yeah, but and I don't think that it's just so shaming isn't all. I'm not arguing that we should only communicate with people in negative manners, right? That's not what I'm arguing about. What I'm arguing for is the idea that shaming can be a productive tool, because it's not just these positive traits that it instills in people, right? Hey, you stink, therefore the person learned to take a shower. But it also instills in people a little bit of mental perseverance, right? Like the idea of, because sometimes people might shame you into doing a thing, or try to shame you into doing a thing that you absolutely know that you shouldn't do, vis-a-vis like drugs, right? When I was a kid, we had the whole like DARE program, right? It's like, don't,
Mm.
friends don't let friends do drugs. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. And so the whole idea there was like, people are going to try to shame you into doing a thing that's negative. So, but if you had experienced that before when you were a little bit younger, say like, the grizzly bear needing to take a shower, right? Then you'll know what that process feels like, and you'll know how to stand up against it when it's a negative force in your life,
Mm.
not just a positive force.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I cracked up laughing because I was trying to think of examples of positive reinforcement for taking a shower, but though lots of things crossed through my mind, and I really didn't want to say them. So anyway,
That's ominous.
well, yeah, honey, here's if you take a shower. No. Sorry, man, my brain's going places I can't. I shouldn't say. Anyway, so there's times that positive. I was just trying to think of maybe some positive reinforcements that you could use in those particular situations. Um, but no, you're absolutely right. Once you start overcoming, and a person understands what that feels like. I'll be honest with you. Uh, Junior high was rough on me. Uh, you know, I was in higher end in classes, but didn't come from a higher end socioeconomical place. Well, most
You
of the
were
people
poor.
that
You
were,
were a poor kid.
we were poor.
Yeah.
And,
Ain't no
I was so,
crime not having money.
here we go. When I was young, we were poor. You're supposed to say, how poor were you?
How poor were you?
We were so poor, my mama cut holes in our pockets on purpose just to give us something to reach for. So anyway, uh, so uh,
We only shopped at Aldi when they were having a sale. Oh man.
so anyway, but you're absolutely right. One of the reasons why I got to the place and how I got to the place of I don't care about peer pressure, I could absolutely get beyond it. It didn't affect me, was because how rough junior high school was on me. Well, for us, it was middle school, and because of that, it shaped me to the place of, yeah, I could care less what you thought about me. I was going to live my life. I had heard everything. I had had all the teases. I've been rubbed in. Went through a lot of fights. I mean, in essence, is kind of a boy named Sue, but it wasn't about my name that was a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody would say something, and I had no problem busting them in the head for it.
Right.
So then you get to the place though where I mean, and so that's how I lived it. That's how I got to the place where I don't care what other people think. I'm going to live my life, and it's incredibly liberating. You had alluded to something of that, I think, before we got started onto the show. Not worrying about what other people think is pretty liberating.
It is very liberating. It's incredibly liberating. But I'm going to shift gears for a little bit and talk about the absence of shaming, which is something that we're dealing with today, which I think is even more insipid and insidious. Those are two really good words back to back. I'm giving myself points for that one. And that is, like, people don't realize it, but it's almost like putting on the mental, like, golden handcuffs in a way, because it's like people we're hardwired, right, to seek validation. And so positive reinforcement, when used in the wrong way, can be just as, like I said, insidious to a person's mental framework as shaming can be. Shaming being the negative reinforcement side to it, and then the forever seeking of validation being the positive reinforcement to it. And people don't realize that it's like, hey, we live in this online culture now to where it's like everything must be praised, everything is good, that people have chained themselves mentally to being like they have to seek that validation every second of the day. Hey, I did a thing. Let me rush to my phone so that I can take a picture of it or a quick video, send it out there on the interwebs, and then sit here and wait for all of the internet peoples to come by and click on it and give me my little thumbs up and my likes, validating the thing that I did. When like before, right, somebody might look at you and be like, that's stupid. Nobody does that. And so it's like, because that never thing, you have a lack of shaming on the one side, a lack of the negative reinforcement, and then you're in the mental prison of being forced, to seek the positive validation for things that maybe you shouldn't be doing.
Okay, so what is positive reinforcement? So for our listening audience and everybody else that wants to be professional psychologists and therapists, what
Who
is
would ever want to do that?
Thanks, man.
That was a side jab.
So I just got smacked upside the head because yes, I'm a psych major.
Because
okay.
we're bringing back shaming. That's what I.
Yeah. No. So the other side, positive reinforcements is reward.
Right. It's the cookie.
It's reward. So B.F. Skinner, I actually watched him get 5 mice, 10, 5 on a team, put them on a makeshift basketball court, and put a ball out in the middle of them. And I mean, there was so much dunking going on. But anyway, they would grab the ball, take it down the other end, and mice would go up, put it through the net. He had the ball in his teeth, put it through the net, slam dunk, right? Boom, out the other side of it, dropped kernel corn.
Oh, okay.
Now, what was interesting?
I thought you were making all this up.
No,
was like...
I've actually seen it.
Right.
And then one of the other mice grab it, but his is down at this end, and boom, and all the other mice are scrambling for the ball, trying to take it out of his mouth because everybody wants to put the ball through. But that first mouse that did it drops out of the game. Why?
Because he already received the reward.
He got his reward. There was no more to playing until he finished eating, and when he wanted another one, then he would get back in the game. But when he got his reward, there was no reason, and look what it created. There was no reason to continue on, until he just wanted another reward. And that's a lot of what is going on with the positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement does it with the guilt, does its shaping. Positive reward, actually, if it's done right, is good. But if it's done wrong, it does nothing but imprison people.
Yeah.
All I'm working for is to get my little nugget, whatever it is that I want. And I will work until I get my nugget, and then I stop. You ever worked with anybody that only does exactly what just needs to be done, but cannot go above and beyond that?
100%, which is one of the reasons that I think group projects are absolutely asinine.
Exactly.
Teachers out there, stop.
I hate them. I hate them.
And I finished getting my my degree through an online collegiate program, and the first time that I had to participate in a group I was like, are you serious right now?
Was yours across multiple time zones?
Yes, across multiple time zones. I'm like,
Mine
the whole
was
reason
across
that I am
all 3.
Yeah, the whole reason that I am attending online school for professionals is because I don't have the time or the physical ability to attend the class. And you're going to chain me to a group project with one of the people in my small group worked 3rd shift.
Mine did too. I had a guy that did 3rd shift. Yep.
Anyway.
And I was in Ohio on Eastern time. He was 3rd shift in Indiana on Central time.
Teachers, what do you think? Come up with a new method. All right.
Okay. What I want to know is, what did you do? I want to see if you did the same thing I did.
Well, so I kind of used a little bit of backward psychology and was like, hey, somebody should really take charge of this group and whip everybody into shape. And then, of course, I can't remember her actual. Of course, one enterprising female in our small group was like, I got this. I'll take this and run with it. And I was like, yeah, you go, girl. Here's all my stuff. And I sent it to her. And, I'm not really proud of the way that I conducted myself, but that was
So mine, really quick, because I'm seeing the time and we need to move on. I did that because I didn't want to get. I will shuffle you all kinds of stuff. It'll be exactly that. And we got 1 week before the class was to finish, and I'm checking in. So how's our final project coming along? How's everything going? And she's like, oh, I haven't started on it yet. And the guy working third shift hasn't gotten me his stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when I just said, because I was dedicated, I wanted to ace out in this school. And I was driving all straight A's the way it was. And I'm like, you know what? I got this. Just I'll take it, because I had all the files anyway.
Yeah, usually one person just steps up to the plate and does the project.
That's
pretty normal.
I'm done.
But wrapping it all,
the guy who wants the A, that's the guy.
That's what it is, and that's who you have to identify. It's like, who's the person that really needs the grade in this class? All right, you got this. Here's the torch. Run with it.
But
we are terrible.
Yeah, I read some of her writing too, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
she's not even running through spell check. Come on, man. So yeah,
it's 2023.
Anyway,
first of all, you can just get an online AI program to write your stuff. I shouldn't say that out loud.
Not
all right.
when I was in school. You could.
All right. Well, anyway, wrapping it all up. Shaming gets a bad rap because we're just supposed to do nothing but validate everybody's choices nowadays, but I don't agree with it. I think that we should bring back shaming. I think that it, for all the above mentioned
Look,
reasons.
Daddy, I got a participation trophy.
It makes me sick. That just makes me sick. All right. All I'm saying, bring back shaming. All right. Positive reward. Positive feedback has its place.
Make me feel like a loser.
Bring back shaming. All right.